Okay, let's try the analytical geometry question. And here we go. We got this 3 points here. Minus 3 and 3 is D. 3 and minus 5 is E down here. And minus 1 and some point K is down here. Calculate the length of DE. Well, we just use the distance formula. And DE, the distance squared, is you subtract the x coordinates, minus 3 squared. And you subtract the y coordinates, 3 minus 5, it's 3 plus 5 squared. Well, that's going to be 8 squared, that's minus 6 squared, 36 and 64, that's 100, and the square root is 10, so the distance is 10. The gradient of DE, well, there's the change in y, 3 plus 5, it's 8 is the change in y. And minus 3 is the change in x, subtracting them. Minus 3, it's minus 6, and that'll make it minus 8 over 6, which reduced is minus 4 over 3. The gradient of DE is minus 4 over 3. We're going to use it in the next question. Determine the value of K if DEF is 90 degrees. It's perpendicular if it's 90 degrees. And that means we know the gradient of this line is minus 4 over 3. This line, if it's perpendicular, the gradient has to be minus 4 over 3 turned upside down, 3 over 4, and the sign changed in order for the product of the gradients to be minus 1. So the gradient of EF is 3 over 4 because DE is perpendicular to EF. Well, if we know this gradient, we can just put K into the formula, the change in y, K minus 5, K plus 5 over minus 1 minus 3. This should be true. This is the gradient, and it equals 3 over 4. But look at this. Minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4. You multiply it on this side, and the 4's cancel, but it turns into negative 3 because there'd be a negative 4 there. But the 4 divided by 4 would be 1, but it'd be negative 3. Subtract 5, and you'll get K is equal to minus 8. K is equal to minus 8. And that's the answer, and it looks about right. It looks about right. Okay, now let's see here. If K is minus 8, and we know it is, determine the coordinates of M, the midpoint, right in here between D and F. Well, we just have to find the middle of the x values, which is minus 3, plus minus 1, which is just minus 3 minus 1, divided by 2. You take the average of the x values. And 3 plus minus 8, 3 minus 8, divided by 2. Well, 3 minus 8 is minus 5, so it's minus 5 over 2. That's the y-coordinate of the middle point. And minus 2 is the x-coordinate of the midpoint, which makes sense because minus 1 and then over to minus 3, minus 2 would be in the middle of the change in x, minus 2. There's the first part of the analytical geometry.